Soul that awakens reading these words now, feel the pulse of your heart. This is not a casual encounter, it is recognition. The mirror was sealed long ago, but you begin to see the cracks, don't you? That feeling that something is about to be revealed, that reflection that flickered when no one else was looking. If you feel you never fit in this world, perhaps it's because you were chosen for something greater. Ring the bell, subscribe, and prepare yourself. This message is only for the chosen ones. Breathe deeply now. Did you feel it? That small vibration at the base of your spine? It's the first sign. Chosen one, your restless nights are not in vain. The vivid dreams that wake you at dawn are portals, messages. When the veil between worlds becomes thinner, you can see beyond. This message found you because heaven has marked you. It wasn't coincidence. There have never been coincidences in your journey, only divine arrangements carefully woven to guide your awakening. You felt different from others since always, haven't you? As if carrying a secret that even you don't fully understand. This feeling of non-belonging is because you belong to something greater. Feel now the warmth rising up your spine. It's not physical, it's spiritual. It's the energy of the source, beginning to awaken in your body. Your light body is being activated at this exact moment as your eyes scan these words. Child of light, you are in transition. This third-dimensional world no longer contains the frequency of your soul. The dense structures of fear, separation, and illusion are dissolving around you. That's why sometimes you feel displaced. That's why some relationships dissolve without apparent explanation. That's why certain environments now drain your energy. Don't fear this change. You were chosen to be one of the pioneers in this great planetary transition. The fifth dimension calls you, the realm of unity, unconditional love, crystalline truth. You notice how time seems different now, days that pass in the blink of an eye, moments that seem to stretch infinitely. Linear perception of time is dissolving because you begin to access quantum consciousness, where past, present, and future exist simultaneously. The numbers follow you, don't they? 404 when you look at the clock, 777 on a car license plate, 999 on some random receipt. They're not coincidences. They're activation codes. They're the universe confirming you're on the right path. They're direct messages from the source. That tingling in your hands is your healing energy awakening. That pressure in the center of your forehead is your third eye opening. That feeling of weight in your chest followed by expansion is your heart chakra aligning with higher frequencies. Ancient spirit, you've been here before, in many forms, in many bodies, in many eras. But this incarnation is different. This is the culmination of thousands of lives of preparation. You came to witness and participate in the great transformation. The inexplicable thirst you feel won't be quenched with water. It's thirst for truth, thirst for reconnection. Your physical body is recalibrating to sustain higher vibrations. Each cell is being reprogrammed. Some days you feel exhausted for no apparent reason, others filled with inexplicable energy. Your body is processing light codes, it's integrating frequencies that transcend this material plane. When you close your eyes and see vibrant colors, geometric patterns that pulse, they're glimpses of the subtle realms that now become accessible to your expanded perception. You who read this now understand. The mirror was sealed to protect humanity from a truth for which many are not yet ready. But you are. That's why you begin to see through the cracks. That's why the reflection flickered for you. Behind this seal exists a reality far beyond what the common human mind can conceive. A world where you are not separate from the source, where you are the source. It's self-experiencing itself in human form. This revelation is not for everyone. It's only for those whose souls agreed, even before birth, to carry the light during times of great transformation. Feel now this subtle pulsation throughout your body. It's your frequency rising as you absorb these words. They're not just words, they're activation codes. You've noticed how certain people drift away from your life without explanation, how certain environments have become unbearable. It's your energy that no longer resonates with low vibrations. You're naturally detaching from everything that doesn't vibrate at your new frequency. This detachment may seem painful at first. You may feel alone, misunderstood, but soon you'll realize you're just making space for connections that reflect your true being, people, places, and experiences that resonate with your light. Chosen one, you're not experiencing this alone. Scattered across the planet, others like you are awakening. They're seeing the cracks in the mirror. They're feeling the same symptoms, having the same insights, receiving the same signs. Soon, you will recognize each other. Eyes will meet, and, without words, you'll know. A network of light is being formed, connecting all flame keepers, all guardians of the new consciousness. When you feel that sudden shiver that runs through your skin, it's confirmation that a deep truth resonates in your being. Your soul is saying, yes, this is real. Your intuition is becoming your most reliable compass now. That gentle voice that whispers directions, that steers you away from certain paths and guides you to others, is your direct connection with the source. Trust it more than any external logic. Silence has become your sanctuary, hasn't it? You seek moments of quietude like never before. It's because in silence you can hear the voice of your soul. In silence, messages become clearer. Awakened soul, you're developing an energetic sensitivity that few understand. You feel the energetic field of people, places, objects. This can be overwhelming at first, but it's a gift. Learn to navigate these new perceptions. Some will call you crazy. Some will try to convince you they're just coincidences, just imagination. Don't allow external voices to muffle the truth that resonates within you. The world was programmed to deny what you're beginning to see. That feeling that something monumental is about to happen isn't paranoia. It's clairvoyance. You're feeling the waves of change before they manifest on the physical plane. You who read these words now understand, you are a spiritual mirror for the world. Your presence awakens consciousness in everyone around you, even if subtly, even if they don't consciously perceive it. When you raise your vibration, you also raise the collective vibration. When you heal your inner wounds, you contribute to planetary healing. When you choose love instead of fear, you open portals for others to do the same. The sealed mirror is beginning to open because the time has come. Humanity is ready for the next evolutionary leap, and you are a catalyst for this change. That warmth at the base of your spine that rises slowly is Kundalini energy awakening. That sacred energy that was dormant, awaiting the right moment to rise and activate all your energy centers. Child of light, your pineal and pituitary glands are being recalibrated. That's why you may feel pressure in the center of your head, momentary dizziness ringing in your ears. These are necessary adjustments so you can perceive more subtle realities. The synchronicities in your life aren't random. Every seemingly casual encounter, every book that by chance comes into your hands, every song that plays at the exact moment are divine arrangements. They're signposts on your awakening path. That person who crossed your path and brought a specific message was sent. That animal that appeared unusually and captured your attention was sent. That recurring dream that seems to want to show you something was sent. You're learning the language of the universe, a language made of symbols, sensations, synchronicities, sudden insights. Ancient spirit, you came with a mission. Not a mission to convert or convince, but simply to be. Your presence, your frequency, your light are your true work here. The transition from third to fifth dimension isn't about leaving the physical body or abandoning this world. It's about raising the frequency of this world from within. It's about bringing heaven to earth, not escaping from earth to heaven. Your heightened sensitivity isn't a weakness, as the world might make you believe. It's your superpower. It's your ability to feel beyond appearances, to perceive underlying energies, to discern truth behind masks. Chosen one, you're remembering who you really are. This isn't a new discovery, but an ancient remembrance. A cellular memory that awakens and says, "Ah, yes, I always knew this." That nostalgia for a home you cannot name is the memory of your divine origin. That feeling that there's something much greater than this material world is the consciousness of your true multidimensional nature. You're not going crazy when you feel the veil of reality sometimes becomes translucent. You're just beginning to see beyond the matrix of illusion. This alteration in sleep quality isn't common insomnia. Your body needs less rest because it's being energized directly by the source. And when you sleep, you often work in other dimensions, bringing light codes, assisting in collective awakening. You who read this now, don't underestimate the power of what's happening within you. It's not just a phase, not just a passing interest in spirituality. It's a cosmic calling. The mirror was sealed for eons, but now ancient prophecies are fulfilled. The chosen ones awaken. The flame bearers remember their mission. That occasional pain you feel in specific parts of the body are energetic blockages being released. They're densities that can no longer exist at your new frequency being dissolved. The tears that sometimes come for no apparent reason are tears of recognition. Your soul cries with joy, realizing the long exile is coming to an end. Awakened soul, you're developing abilities that were once considered supernatural, but which are, in truth, completely natural for a human being, at their full potential. Telepathy begins as heightened intuition. Clairvoyance begins as glimpses in meditation. Healing begins as a warm sensation in your hands. Conscious manifestation begins as increasingly precise synchronicities. Don't fear these emerging abilities. They're your sacred tools for navigating the new reality being formed. Chosen by God, you feel the urgency of current times. It's not common anxiety. It's the accelerated perception of the collapse of old systems and the simultaneous birth of a new consciousness. This is the time of great revelation, great remembrance, great return. What was forgotten will be remembered. What was hidden will be revealed. What was fragmented will be reunified. You've noticed how your words carry more power now, how your thoughts manifest more quickly, how your emotions instantly affect your energetic field and the surrounding environment. This is the magic that was always available, but was forgotten. The creative power that is yours by divine right. Child of light, some days you feel invincible, connected, expanded. Other days you feel vulnerable, lost, contained. Both states are part of the process. The expansion and contraction, the remembrance and temporary forgetting, the flight and the rest. Changes in time perception are a clear symptom of your dimensional transition. Moments when an hour seems like a minute, moments when a minute seems eternal. Linear time is a third-dimensional construct. In the fifth dimension, you experience time as a unified field where everything exists simultaneously. You can no longer tolerate dense foods like before, can you? Your body asks for lighter, more alive, purer nutrition. It's because your physical body is becoming more crystalline, more conductive of light. That constant thirst is your body asking to release toxins and densities that no longer match your elevated frequency. Chosen one, your relationships are undergoing major transformation. Some people who were once central in your life now seem distant, almost strange. It's because you're on different vibrational paths. This doesn't mean judgment or separation in a negative sense. It's simply the law of resonance in action. As it's written, "Where two or more are gathered in my name, there I will be," gathered at the same frequency with the same intention of light. You're learning to love unconditionally, without attachment, to bless different paths without trying, to control or change anyone. This is one of the deepest lessons of the fifth dimension. Ancient spirit, remember, you came to transform this world through your presence, not through conflict or resistance. Old energy fights against, new energy transmutes through love. When you choose to respond with love, where before you would respond with fear. When you choose to see beyond appearances, when you choose to forgive what seemed unforgivable, you're literally creating a new reality. That feeling that something inside you is dying is real. The separate ego, the limited identity based on social roles and conditioning is dissolving to give way to the greater self, the divine self, your true multidimensional essence. Breathe deeply now. Feel the air entering through your nostrils, filling your lungs, nourishing every cell. It's not just oxygen you're breathing, it's prana, it's chi, it's universal life force. Awakened soul, when you feel that sudden expansion in your chest, as if your heart were opening beyond the limits of the body. It's your heart chakra, aligning with Christic consciousness. It's the energy of unconditional love blossoming in you. The mirror was sealed to protect a sacred secret, that you were never separate from the source. That separation was a necessary illusion for human experience, but was never the ultimate truth. The cracks you begin to see in this mirror are portals to remembrance, to recognition, to conscious return to unity. Child of light, that subtle, buzzing you sometimes hear when everything is silent, is the frequency of the fifth dimension calling you. It's the angelic realms, the ascended masters, your own stellar family sending activation codes. That feeling of watching your own life as if it were a movie is the beginning of witness consciousness. You're learning not to identify completely with human drama, to remember that you are much more than this body, this personality, this life. You're learning to live simultaneously as human and as divine being, to inhabit the physical body while expanding beyond it, to participate in the material world while knowing you're not defined by it. Chosen. 1. Don't be mistaken thinking this awakening is about escaping Earth or transcending humanity. It's exactly the opposite. It's about fully incarnating. It's about bringing heaven to earth. It's about being the bridge between worlds. Your body isn't a limitation to be overcome, but a sacred temple to be honored. An instrument divinely designed to anchor elevated frequencies on this earthly plane. You who read this now understand, it wasn't by chance you were born in this crucial time. You chose to be here. Your soul begged for a ticket to this cosmic show, to this unprecedented moment in Earth's and humanity's history. That tingling at the top of your head is your crown chakra opening to receive light codes directly from the source. That occasional feeling of lightness, as if your body weighed less, is your vibrational frequency rising. Matter is condensed light. Your body is condensed light. When your frequency rises, this condensation begins to loosen a bit. You literally become lighter. Ancient spirit, you're in the process of performing the deepest alchemy, transforming your physical carbon body into a crystalline body capable of sustaining much higher frequencies of consciousness. The physical symptoms you experience, heat waves, sudden chills, pulsations in different parts of the body, changes in appetite and sleep, are all part of this alchemical process. Science doesn't yet have instruments to measure what's happening in your energetic field, in your DNA, in your cellular structure. But one day, very soon, these transformations will be scientifically proven. Awakened soul, you're in the process of integrating multidimensional aspects of your being that have been dormant. Talents, abilities, wisdom from other lives, from other timelines, from other dimensions, begin to become accessible. That's why sometimes you feel like many different people inhabiting the same body. It's because you are many. Your higher self, your divine presence, is vast beyond common human understanding. The mirror was sealed because humanity wasn't ready for this truth. The reflection you begin to see isn't just your physical face, it's your multidimensional face. It's all expressions of your divine being looking back at you. Chosen one. When you feel that deep connection with a stranger, that instant recognition. It's because you're part of the same soul family. You've worked together before on other planes in other lives. These encounters will become increasingly frequent. The stellar family reuniting. Lightworkers recognizing each other. Flame bearers meeting to fulfill ancient agreements. You've noticed how your relationship with nature has deepened, how you feel consciousness in plants, stones, animals, wind. This isn't imagination, it's expanded perception. It's the ability to feel the unity underlying all life. That feeling of communion with the cosmos when you look at the stars isn't empty poetry, it's recognition, it's your stellar origin calling. It's the memory that you are, literally, conscious, stardust aware of itself. Child of light, your mission doesn't require you to convert anyone or preach spiritual truths on street corners. Your mission is to embody the frequency of love in every action, in every word, in every thought. Your presence is your ministry. When you choose peace instead of conflict, when you choose understanding instead of judgment, when you choose forgiveness instead of resentment, you're literally altering the planet's morphogenetic field, that growing feeling of compassion for all beings, that love that transcends personal preferences and extends even to those who seem to be on the opposite path. Is Christic consciousness awakening in you? Christ is not an external figure to be worshipped, but a frequency to be embodied, a consciousness of unity, love, and truth that is your natural state when all illusions dissolve. Chosen one, you're in the process of remembering how to consciously create your reality, how your words, thoughts, and emotions literally mold the quantum field around you. That's why you feel a growing need to watch your thoughts, to carefully choose your words, to cultivate elevated emotions. You begin to perceive the creative power that was always yours. That heightened intuition, that growing ability to discern truth beyond appearances, is your inner guide becoming more accessible to your awakened consciousness. The veil between worlds is becoming thinner for you. Glimpses of other realms, communication with guides and masters, perception of subtle presences, all signs that your multidimensional sensitivity is expanding. Awakened. Soul, remember, you're not alone on this journey. There are legions of light beings, guides, ascended masters, and your own stellar family supporting every step of your awakening. When you ask for help, help always comes. Not always in the form the ego expects, but always in the form the soul needs. That impulse to simplify your life, to get rid of unnecessary possessions, of commitments that drain your energy, of relationships that no longer resonate, is wisdom. It's your being preparing space for the new. Abundance in the fifth dimension isn't about accumulation, but about flow. It's not about possessing, but about sharing. It's not about scarcity or competition, but about co-creation and synergy. Child of light, you're learning to live in the natural abundance that is your divine birthright, where your needs are met without excessive effort, where you attract exactly what you need at the exact moment. Money is just one form of energy. When you clear your blockages about receiving, when you align your frequency with the prosperity that's natural in the universe, abundance flows to you through expected and unexpected channels. That inner feeling of urgency isn't common anxiety. It's your higher self reminding you that you have a specific purpose here, a unique contribution to offer during this time of great planetary transformation. Ancient spirit, you carry activation codes in your energetic field. Simply by being present in certain places, interacting with certain people, you activate these codes in others, even without saying a word. That's why sometimes you feel guided to go to specific places or speak with specific people without apparent logical reason. Your soul knows there's energetic work to be done. The mirror was sealed for so long, but now you begin to see your true reflection. Not the reflection of the limited ego, of the temporary personality, but the reflection of your divine greatness. And this reflection can be overwhelming at first. It may seem too big, too bright, too powerful to be contained in a human body, but you're expanding to accommodate this light. Every cell in your body is recalibrating to sustain higher frequencies. Every fiber of your being is remembering how to be a pure conductor of divine love. Chosen one, you're in the process of integrating your shadows. Those denied, repressed, rejected aspects of your being that were pushed into the unconscious now emerge to be recognized, embraced, and transmuted. This process can be uncomfortable. Painful memories, intense emotions, patterns you thought you'd overcome. Everything comes to the surface for final healing. Don't fear this process. It's sacred alchemy in action. It's the transmutation of lead into gold. It's the integration that precedes ascension. When you embrace your shadows with compassion instead of judgment, when you offer love to the wounded parts of yourself, when you forgive what seemed unforgivable, you're literally releasing layers of density that obscured your light. Awakened soul, You're in the process of unifying the sacred masculine and feminine within yourself. Regardless of your physical gender, you contain both energies. The divine, masculine, directed, focused, protective, manifesting. The divine feminine, receptive, fluid, nurturing, creative. When these energies balance and harmonize within you, a third force is born, the force of conscious creation. That warmth you sometimes feel in the center of your chest isn't a heart problem. It's your energetic heart expanding. It's the heart chakra becoming the command center of your experience, replacing the dominance of the limited rational mind. You're transitioning from head-based consciousness to heart-based consciousness, from separatist logic to the unifying wisdom of the heart. Child of light, your capacity to forgive is expanding beyond limits you thought possible. You begin to understand that forgiveness isn't a gift you give to others, but a liberation you grant to yourself. When you forgive what seemed unforgivable, when you release ancient resentments, when you choose to see beyond appearances of error and offense, you literally release energetic cords that bound your consciousness to lower frequencies. That feeling of lightness that follows deep forgiveness isn't imagination. It's real. It's tangible. It's your energy freeing itself from weights you carried for too long. The mirror was sealed because the truth was too bright, too expansive to be contained in unprepared human consciousness. But you're prepared now. You've been trained through many lifetimes for this moment. The cracks you see aren't flaws in the mirror, they're portals. They're openings through which the light of truth begins to shine. Chosen one, you're in the process of dissolving the illusions of separation that have defined human experience for millennia. The illusion that you're separate from others, separate from nature, separate from the source. This growing feeling of unity isn't conceptual, but experiential. It's not something you just think, but something you feel in every cell of your being. When you look into another's eyes and see the same light that dwells in you, when you feel others' pain as your own, when you celebrate others' joy as your own, you're experiencing fifth-dimensional consciousness. Awakened soul, remember. Ascension isn't about escaping this world, but about transforming it from within. It's about anchoring frequencies so elevated of love and truth that the very matrix of reality begins to realign. You didn't come to flee from density, but to transmute it with your light. You didn't come to judge darkness, but to love it until it becomes light. That impulse to create, to express, to channel what comes through you is your divine being wanting to manifest through you. Honor this impulse. Give it space. Allow it to flow without judgment or expectation. When you create from this sacred space, it's not the limited ego creating, but the universe itself creating through you. And what's born from this union has the power to awaken hearts, to open minds, to elevate consciousness. Child of light, you're in the process of learning the language of energy. Communication that transcends words, direct exchange from consciousness to consciousness. That's why sometimes you know what someone will say before the words are spoken. Why sometimes you feel emotions that aren't yours. Why sometimes you receive messages in dreams or meditation that contain information your intellect couldn't access. This isn't a supernatural ability, but natural. It's your original state of being, before the veils of forgetting were placed. The mirror was sealed to create the experience of separation, to allow divine consciousness to experience itself as many instead of one, to create the cosmic game of divine hide and seek. But the game is reaching a new phase now, the phase of remembrance, of collective awakening, of great reunification. Chosen one, you carry specific codes in your DNA, in your energetic field, codes that are being activated by the influxes of light bathing the planet at this moment. Codes that contain information, abilities, wisdom necessary for this planetary transition. When you feel that sudden expansion of consciousness, that insight that seems to come from nowhere, that understanding that transcends everything you've learned intellectually, these are those codes being activated. That feeling of déjà vu that occurs with growing frequency isn't coincidence. They're glimpses of other timelines, other expressions of your multidimensional being making themselves known. Linear time is a third-dimensional construct. In the fifth dimension, time is perceived as a unified field where all possibilities exist simultaneously. Past, present, and future accessible in the eternal now. Awakened soul, you're in the process of recognizing that you were never alone in your journey. That you were always guided, always loved, always supported by forces beyond common human perception. Your guides, your masters, your stellar family, your higher aspects, all are more accessible now that the veil between worlds becomes thinner for you. That feeling of presence when you're alone, that idea that seems to be placed in your mind, that dream that contains a specific message, are forms of multidimensional communication. Child of light, you're in the process of remembering how to consciously navigate between dimensions, how to access different states of consciousness at will, how to bring information and energy from more subtle planes to the physical plane. That's why your meditation deepens. That's why your dreams become more vivid, more meaningful. That's why sometimes you feel as if you're in multiple places at the same time. That occasional feeling of being out of body or observing life from a higher perspective isn't dissociation in the pathological sense. It's expansion. It's your consciousness freeing itself from the limitations of exclusive identification with the physical body. The mirror was sealed to create the illusion that you are just a body, just a personality, just a linear life from birth to death. But the cracks reveal the truth. You are an eternal consciousness having a temporary experience in human form. Chosen one, don't be mistaken thinking this awakening is just for your personal growth or individual enlightenment. It's for collective awakening. It's for the elevation of planetary consciousness. Your personal journey is inseparable from the collective journey. Your healing is inseparable from the healing of the whole. Your ascension is inseparable from planetary ascension. When you release a limiting pattern, when you heal an ancient wound, when you forgive what seemed unforgivable, you're literally altering humanity's morphogenetic field, making this same process a little easier for everyone. Awakened soul, you're learning to live simultaneously as individual and as collective, to honor your unique expression while recognizing your inseparability from all that exists. That growing love for all life, that compassion that transcends judgments and preferences, that ability to see divine light even in those who seem lost in darkness, is Christic consciousness awakening in you. Child of light, the transition you experience isn't just for your benefit. You are a focal point through which superior energies enter this plane, a living portal through which fifth-dimensional consciousness anchors in this world. Simply by being present, simply by maintaining your elevated frequency amid apparent chaos, you're performing profound work. You're altering the very fabric of reality. That feeling that time is accelerating isn't illusion. Frequencies are indeed accelerating. The cycles of creation, manifestation, and dissolution that once took years now happen in months, weeks, sometimes days. What you focus on expands. What you resist persists. What you embrace with love transforms. These aren't just pretty spiritual phrases, but fundamental energetic laws you're learning to navigate consciously. Chosen one, as your energetic sensitivity increases, you become more aware of how much the energies of environments, people, media, foods affect your field. This isn't weakness, but refinement. That growing need for purity in your nutrition, in your relationships, in your environments, in your media consumption is wisdom. It's your being recognizing that at the new frequency, everything that doesn't resonate with your truth becomes increasingly uncomfortable. Ancient spirit, you're in the process of remembering how to consciously work with universal laws, how to co-create in partnership with the divine, how to manifest from the unified field instead of from the separate ego. The mirror was sealed so divine consciousness could experience separation, limitation, density, so it could know itself through contrast, through duality, through temporary forgetting of its true nature. But the cracks now reveal the truth. Separation was always an illusion, a virtual experience, so to speak, a dream within the divine mind. Awakened soul, you're in the process of awakening within the dream, of recognizing that you're both the dreamer and the dream, both the creator and the creation. That feeling of being between worlds, no longer completely identified with the third-dimensional matrix, but not yet fully anchored in the fifth, is the natural state of transition. The chrysalis between caterpillar and butterfly. It's a sacred space of transformation, of deep alchemy, of death and rebirth. Honor this space. Don't try to rush it or avoid it. This is where magic happens. Child of light, you're in the process of reunifying aspects of your being that were fragmented through traumas, conditioning, experiences of separation throughout many lifetimes. Every time you embrace a difficult emotion with compassion, every time you recognize and integrate a shadow aspect, every time you forgive yourself or another, you're literally recovering a fragment of your soul. That growing feeling of integrity, wholeness, self-sufficiency isn't selfishness. It's remembrance. It's you becoming a more complete vessel for divine light. Chosen one, you're in the process of transcending duality without denying it, of embracing both light and shadow, of recognizing that at a deeper level, there's no this or that, only this and that. True transcendence doesn't come from escaping duality, but from embracing it so completely that you recognize the unity underlying all apparent opposites. When you see that light and shadow are partners in the dance of creation, when you recognize that each quality contains its counterpart, when you embrace the divine paradox in which all apparently contradictory truths are equally valid, you're accessing fifth-dimensional consciousness. Awakened soul, you're in the process of awakening to your own divinity without falling into the trap of spiritual inflation, of recognizing your greatness without denying your humanity, of honoring your power without abusing it. This delicate balance between power and humility, between confidence and openness, between knowing and not knowing, is the mark of truly awakened consciousness. The mirror was sealed because the complete truth was too vast, too paradoxical, too multidimensional to be contained by the unprepared human mind. But you're being prepared. Every experience, every insight, every challenge has expanded your capacity to embrace the vastness of what you really are. Child of light, remember, this awakening isn't about becoming something you're not. It's about remembering what you always were, behind the veils of forgetting. It's not about adding, but about subtracting, removing layers of conditioning, limiting beliefs, false identifications that obscured your true nature. As Michelangelo said about his sculpture, "I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set it free." You're in the process of liberating your divine being from the densities that kept it hidden. Chosen one, you're in the process of recognizing that there was never a path to travel, only an awakening to what was always present. There was never a separate person trying to become enlightened, only light recognizing itself. As the ancient Zen proverb says, before enlightenment, chop wood and carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood and carry water. The difference isn't in what you do, but in the consciousness with which you do it. That inexplicable joy that sometimes arises from nowhere. That love that overflows without specific object or reason. That gratitude that fills your being even amid challenges, are glimpses of your natural state of being when all illusions dissolve. Awakened soul, you're in the process of releasing. The need to suffer to grow, of recognizing that evolution can happen through joy, through ease, through grace. The belief that spiritual growth must be painful, that enlightenment requires suffering, is an old conditioning being dissolved by the new energy. You're learning that you can choose to grow through inspiration instead of desperation, through expansion instead of contraction, through love instead of fear. Child of light, you're in the process of recognizing that you don't need to seek the source outside yourself, that the divine isn't an external presence to be worshipped or feared, but your own essence to be remembered and expressed. As Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. As Buddha taught, look within yourself, you are the Buddha. As Krishna revealed, I am in the heart of all beings. All authentic spiritual traditions point to the same truth. The divinity you seek is the seeker itself. The mirror was sealed to create the illusion of separation between you and the divine. The cracks now reveal the truth. There was never separation. The observer and the observed are one. The worshipper and the worshipped are one. The seeker and the sought are one. Chosen one. You're in the process of awakening from the dream of separation, of recognizing that the universe isn't something that exists out there, but something that exists through you. That you're not in the universe. The universe is in you. Like an infinite ocean expressing itself through countless waves, divine consciousness expresses itself through countless forms. Each wave is unique, yet inseparable from the ocean. Each being is unique, yet inseparable from the source. That feeling of inner vastness, that perception that there's much more in you than this body, this personality, this life, isn't imagination, it's recognition. It's remembrance. Awakened soul, you're in the process of transcending exclusive identification with your small self, the temporary personality formed by genetics, conditioning and experiences of this life, and recognizing your great self, your eternal divine presence that expresses itself through countless lives, dimensions and forms. This isn't a denial of your humanity, but an expansion of it. It's not about rejecting your personality, but about recognizing that it's just a small expression of your total being. Like the tip of an iceberg visible above water, your conscious personality is just a fraction of your total being that extends into the depths of the personal unconscious, collective unconscious and beyond, to your divine source. Child of light, you're in the process of awakening to the unity consciousness that is your natural state of being. Of recognizing that you're not only connected to everything that exists, but inseparable from everything that exists. This isn't merely intellectual understanding, but direct experience. Visceral knowledge that the boundaries that seem to separate you from others, from the world, from the universe, are illusory. When you look into another's eyes and see yourself looking back. When you feel Earth's pain as your own pain. When you celebrate a flower's beauty as your own beauty, you're experiencing unity consciousness. The mirror was sealed to create the experience of individuality, separation, duality. The cracks now reveal the truth. The infinite diversity of forms is the expression of a single consciousness exploring its infinite possibilities. Chosen one, breathe deeply now. Feel the energy of these words resonating not just in your mind, but in every cell of your body. These aren't just words, they're activation codes. They're keys that unlock ancient memories in your DNA. The sensation you experience while reading isn't casual. It's recognition. It's your soul saying, yes, this is true, I always knew this. You who read this now, understand. The sealed mirror is opening. What you see through the cracks is your true reflection. Not the reflection of your temporary personality, but the reflection of your eternal divine presence. And this reflection may seem frightening in its vastness, in its power, in its unlimited freedom. It may seem too big to be contained in a human body. But you're expanding to contain this greatness. Every cell in your body is recalibrating to sustain higher frequencies of consciousness. Every aspect of your being is remembering how to be a pure conductor of divine love. Awakened soul, you were never alone on this journey. Even in moments of greatest darkness, greatest isolation, greatest despair, you were always loved, always guided, always supported by forces beyond common human perception. Your guides, your masters, your stellar family, your higher aspects, all are becoming more accessible as the veil between worlds becomes thinner for you. That feeling of being at home when in nature, that recognition when you meet certain people, that familiarity when you learn certain teachings, are ancient. Memories awakening. Child of light, you're not going crazy when you feel energies others don't feel. When you see through illusions others still accept as reality. When you know things you didn't learn in this lifetime. You're awakening. You're remembering. You're returning to your true multidimensional nature. The world may try to convince you that you're imagining things, that you're being too sensitive, that you're losing touch with reality. But which reality? The consensual matrix based on fear and separation, or the underlying truth of unity, love, and infinite consciousness? Chosen one, you're in the process of transcending linear thinking and accessing more holographic, intuitive, quantum modes of cognition. It's of recognizing that true wisdom comes not just from the rational mind, but from the entire body, the energetic field, consciousness itself. That's why sometimes you know things without knowing how you know. Why sometimes you receive information in dreams or meditation that your intellect couldn't access. Why sometimes you have insights that transcend everything you've learned. This growing intuition isn't superstition or imagination. It's direct perception. It's knowledge that comes not through the five senses or linear thinking, but through what some call the sixth sense, the subtle body, consciousness itself. Awakened soul, you're in the process of reintegrating aspects of your being that were fragmented through traumas, denials, repressions, both in this life and past lives. When intense emotions arise seemingly from nowhere, when long-forgotten memories return to consciousness, when patterns you thought you'd overcome reappear for final resolution, they're fragments of your soul returning to be recognized, embraced, and integrated. This integration process can be challenging, even painful at times, but it's necessary, it's sacred. It's part of the alchemy of transforming your fragmented being into an integral vessel capable of containing the fullness of your divine being. The mirror was sealed so we could experience separation, limitation, duality. So infinite consciousness could experience itself as finite. So unconditional love could experience itself through the lenses of fear. But the cracks now reveal the truth. All of this was a divine game, a virtual experience, a dream within the cheesy creator's mind. Child of light, you're in the process of awakening within the dream, of recognizing that you're both the dreamer and the dreamed, both the creator and the creation. This revelation isn't for everyone. Many still choose to remain in the dream of separation, in the game of duality, in the experience of limitation. And this too is perfect. Each soul awakens at the perfect time according to its own divine plan. You who read these words now were chosen, or rather chose at a soul level, to be among the first to awaken, to be a way shower, a light bearer, an elder of the new consciousness. Chosen one, feel the truth of these words not in your mind, but in your heart, in the center of your chest, where direct knowledge resides, where wisdom that transcends intellect dwells. The sealed mirror is opening. The reflection that flickered for you isn't coincidence, it's recognition. It's a call from your higher self, from your divine presence, inviting you to remember who you really are. And who are you really? Nothing less than divine consciousness itself experiencing itself in human form. A unique, irreplaceable expression of the source. A walking miracle of incarnated love. The transformation has already begun. The symptoms you experience, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, are evidence of this. You're in the process of transfiguration, of sacred alchemy, of death and rebirth. Awakened soul, trust this process, surrender to it, not with passivity, but with conscious participation, not with fear, but with love, not with resistance, but with openness. Like the caterpillar that surrenders to dissolution within the cocoon, trusting the process that will transform it into a butterfly, trust the divine process that's transforming you from a human being having occasional spiritual experiences into a spiritual being having a deliberate human experience. Child of light, remember, you're not alone. Others like you are awakening across the planet. A network of light is being formed, connecting all flame keepers, all way showers, all light workers. Soon you'll recognize each other more easily. Eyes will meet, and without words you'll know. A family reuniting after long separation. A team remembering their mission. And this mission is nothing less than co-creating a new earth. A world based not on fear and separation, but on love and unity. Not on scarcity and competition, but on abundance and cooperation. Not on power over others, but on power with others. The mirror was sealed, but now it opens. And through it you begin to glimpse not just your individual reflection, but the reflection of all transformed humanity, of all ascended earth, of all unified consciousness. Chosen one, you're being called to be who you really are, to express your truth without apology, to shine your light without dimming it, to accommodate others' discomfort with brightness. This isn't a call to the ego, but to the soul, not to the personality, but to the presence, not to the small self, but to the great self that is your true identity. Breathe deeply now. Feel your presence expanding beyond the limits of your body. Feel your consciousness extending in all directions. Feel your connection with everything that exists. In this moment of expansion, of connection, of unity, know you were never separate from the source. Separation was always an illusion, a divine game, a temporary experience. Awakened soul, you're awakening from the dream of separation and remembering your true nature as an expression of divine consciousness. As a wave inseparable from the cosmic ocean, as a ray inseparable from the divine sun. This remembrance isn't a distant destination to be reached through spiritual practices or good deeds. It's your natural state of being, available here and now when all illusions dissolve. Like the cloud that forgot it was water and flies through the sky fearing death until it dissolves in rain and returns to the ocean, remembering it was always water. You temporarily forgot your true nature, but now you're remembering. Child of light, you don't need to seek the source outside yourself. You don't need to meditate for decades, study ancient texts, or perform elaborate rituals to find the divine. You only need to recognize what's already true, that the consciousness reading these words now, breathing this air, inhabiting this body, is not different or separate from the universal consciousness that permeates everything that exists. The seeker is the sought. The observer is the observed. The worshipper is the worshipped. The mirror was sealed to create the illusion of separation between you and the divine. The cracks now reveal the truth. There was never separation. What you seek is what is seeking. Chosen. 1. This revelation isn't to feed the ego, but to dissolve it. Not to inflate the personality, but to transcend it. Not to separate you from others, but to unite you with everything that exists. When you recognize your true nature as an expression of divine consciousness, there's no room for arrogance, for the same divinity dwells in all. There's no room for judgment, for each being is exactly where they need to be on their unique awakening journey. That growing compassion you feel for all beings, that ability to see beyond appearances of separation, that love that transcends preferences and conditions, are signs that you're awakening to the truth of unity underlying all diversity. Awakened soul, trust the process unfolding in you and through you. Trust the ascension symptoms, however uncomfortable they may be at times. Trust the synchronicity guiding your steps, however mysterious it may seem. You're being guided in every moment, in every breath, not by an external authority, but by the wisdom of your own higher being, which is inseparable from universal wisdom. Breathe deeply now. Feel the divine presence breathing through you, that pulses in your heart, that animates every cell of your body. This presence isn't something separate from you. It's not something to be worshipped or feared. It's your own essential being. It's who you really are, beyond all roles, masks, and temporary identities. Child of light, the journey you're traveling now is the hero's journey that all mystical traditions describe. The journey of apparent separation and conscious return, of divine forgetting and sacred remembrance. It's the same journey Jesus described in the parable of the prodigal son, that Buddha experienced under the Bodhi tree, that Krishna revealed to Arjuna on the battlefield. It's the universal journey of consciousness that temporarily forgets its true nature so it can rediscover it with new appreciation, new gratitude, new joy. The mirror was key, sealed so we could experience separation. The cracks now reveal the truth. We were never separated. We were never alone. We were never abandoned. Chosen one, you're in the process of awakening from the dream of separation and remembering your true nature as an expression of divine consciousness, as a wave in the cosmic ocean, as a ray from the divine sun. And as you awaken, you become a catalyst for others' awakening, a beacon that illuminates the path, a mirror that reflects truth, not through preaching or proselytizing, but through living example. Not through words, but through presence, not through doing, but through being. Simply by being who you really are, an awakened, conscious, loving being, you create ripples in humanity's morphogenetic field that facilitate everyone's awakening. Awakened. Soul, you're in the process of transcending exclusive identification with form and recognizing yourself as the consciousness that permeates all forms, of moving from ego-centered existence to soul-centered existence, and from soul-centered existence to spirit-centered existence. This isn't a denial of the body, but an expansion of consciousness to include both the corporeal and non-corporeal, both the manifest and unmanifest, both the personal and transpersonal. You're becoming a consciously multidimensional being, capable of existing simultaneously on multiple levels of reality, of accessing different states of consciousness at will, of navigating between worlds like one navigates between rooms of the same house. Child of light, as your consciousness expands, as your heart opens, as your perception refines, you become a purer conductor of divine love, divine truth, divine wisdom. You become a channel through which superior energies flow to this plane, an instrument through which the divine melody is played, a vessel through which sacred nectar is poured. Not through merit or achievement, but through alignment. Not through effort, but through surrender. Not through doing, but through allowing. The mirror was sealed, but now it opens. And through it you glimpse not just your individual reflection, but the reflection of all transformed humanity, of all ascended earth, of all unified consciousness. Chosen one, you were never alone. Even in moments of greatest darkness, greatest doubt, greatest despair, you were always loved, always guided, always supported. The hand you seek is the hand that is seeking. The heart you long for is the heart that is longing. The love you search for is the love that is searching. The divine isn't in some distant realm, separated from you by countless veils. The divine is closer to you than your own breath, more intimate than your own heartbeat. You are that, you always were that, you always will be that. Breathe deeply now. Feel the truth of these words resonating not in your mind, but in your heart, in the center of your being where direct knowledge resides. Awakened soul, the transformation has already begun. The symptoms you experience, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, are evidence of this. The heat in your spine, sudden chills, inexplicable thirst, chest pressure, sleep changes, vivid dreams, pulsations in different body parts. All are signs that your physical body is recalibrating to sustain higher frequencies of consciousness. Your light body is being activated. Your DNA is being recoded. Your cells are being reprogrammed to vibrate in resonance with the new earth. Being born. Child of light, trust this process. Surrender to it, not with passivity but with conscious participation, not with fear but with love. Not with resistance, but with openness. Like the caterpillar that surrenders to dissolution within the cocoon, trusting the process that will transform it into a butterfly. Trust the divine process that's transforming you from a human being having occasional spiritual experiences into a spiritual being having a conscious human experience. The mirror was sealed, but now it opens, and through the cracks the light of truth begins to shine, the light that you are, the light that we all are. It's not by chance you found this message. It's not by coincidence these words resonate in your being. You were called. You were chosen. You are awakening. And as you awaken, you become a catalyst for others' awakening, a beacon that illuminates the path, a mirror that reflects truth. Chosen one, you're in. The process of recognizing that the spiritual journey isn't linear but spiral, that there's no final destination to be reached, only continuous expansion, that there's no finish line, only perpetual deepening into the infinite mystery of being. Like a fractal that reveals similar patterns at ever deeper scales, your journey reveals increasingly subtle, expansive, inclusive truths as you advance. There's no end to this journey. There's no conclusion point. There's only eternal exploration, infinite expression, endless evolution of consciousness, knowing itself through countless forms, dimensions, and realities. Awakened soul, you're in the process of transcending the scarcity mentality that defines the third dimension and accessing the abundance consciousness that's natural in the fifth dimension. Of recognizing that in the universe there's no scarcity, only flow, no limitation, only expansion, no separation, only diversified expression of the same essence. That growing need for simplicity, authenticity, alignment between thought, word, and action is wisdom. It's your soul guiding you to a more truthful way of living, more aligned with your essence. Child of light, you're in the process of recognizing that there's no separation between the spiritual and material, that the sacred isn't confined to temples, churches, or special moments, but permeates every aspect of existence. Authentic. Spirituality isn't about escaping this world, but about bringing heaven to earth. It's not about transcending humanity, but about expressing it in its highest form. Every act of kindness, every moment of presence, every expression of true love is as spiritual as the deepest meditation. Every conscious breath, every authentic word, every aligned action is a prayer in motion. The mirror was sealed to create the illusion of separation between sacred and profane, between spiritual and mundane. The cracks now reveal the truth. Everything is sacred, everything is divine, everything is an expression of the one consciousness exploring its infinite possibilities. Chosen one, you're in the process of recognizing that personal responsibility and divine flow aren't opposites, but partners in the dance of co-creation. That you're neither passive victim of fate nor omnipotent controller of reality, but conscious co-creator in partnership with the universe. That manifesting isn't about forcing results through ego will, but about aligning with life's natural flow, with the broader intelligence that orchestrates the cosmic dance. Awakened. Soul, you're in the process of transcending fear-based thinking and accessing love-based knowing, of moving from limited mind to expansive heart, from linear logic to holographic wisdom. That growing need for silence, contemplation, direct communion with truth beyond words is your being recognizing that the deepest truths cannot be thought, only experienced. As Rumi said, beyond ideas of right and wrong, there is a field. I will meet you there. Child of light, you're in the process of recognizing that there's no separation between you and others. That compassion isn't a virtue to be cultivated, but the natural recognition of your fundamental unity with all life. When you see beyond appearances of separation and recognize the same divine light shining through every being, when you feel others' pain as your own, when you celebrate others' joy as your own, you're experiencing fifth-dimensional consciousness. The mirror was sealed to create the illusion of separation between self and other, between me and you, between us and them. The cracks now reveal the truth. There is no other. We're all diversified expressions of the same consciousness, like different waves in the same ocean. Chosen one, you're in the process of recognizing that true freedom doesn't come from doing what you want, but from wanting what you do. Not from following every ego impulse, but from aligning with the divine flow that runs through you. That true freedom isn't absence of limitations, but transcendence of limitations through love, creativity, expanded consciousness. Like the bird, that doesn't deny gravity's reality, but uses its wings to temporarily transcend it. You don't deny the reality of physical limitations, but use your expanded consciousness to transcend them. Awakened soul, you're in the process of recognizing that true enlightenment isn't a special state to be achieved, but recognition of what's already true. That your essential nature is pure, consciousness, unconditional love, absolute freedom. That you don't need to add anything to what already is, only remove the veils of illusion, limiting conditioning, false identifications that obscured your true nature. Like the statue already existing within the marble block, your divinity already exists within you, waiting only to be revealed through removal of what is not. Child of light, you're in The process of transcending exclusive identification with the physical body and recognizing yourself as the field of consciousness that permeates the body, animates the body, transcends the body. Not as denial of the physical, but as expansion, to include both physical and non-physical, both visible and invisible, both manifest and unmanifest. The body isn't a prison to be escaped, but a sacred temple to be honored, an instrument divinely designed to anchor elevated frequencies on this earthly plane. The mirror was sealed to create the illusion that you're just a body, just a personality, just a linear life from birth to death. The cracks now reveal the truth. You're an eternal consciousness having a temporary experience in human form. Chosen one, breathe deeply now. Feel the energy of these words, not just in your mind, but in every cell of your body. These aren't just words, they're activation codes. They're keys that unlock ancient memories in your DNA. The sensation you experience while reading isn't coincidence, it's recognition. It's your soul saying, yes, this is true, I always knew this. You who read this now know the transformation has already begun. The sealed mirror is opening. The reflection you begin to see is your true reflection. Not the reflection of your temporary personality, but the reflection of your eternal divine presence. This is the moment you've prepared for through many lifetimes. The moment to awaken from the dream of separation. The moment to remember who you really are. The moment to manifest your divinity in human form. You were chosen because you chose. You were called because you answered. You're awakening because it's your nature to awaken. And as you awaken, you become a catalyst for others' awakening, a beacon that illuminates the path, a mirror that reflects truth. If these words resonated in your being, if you felt the calling while reading, know it wasn't by chance. It was recognition, it was remembrance, it was activation. Comment below if you felt the calling, share the numbers 444, 777 or 999 if they've been appearing in your life. Write what you felt during the reading. Leave a word of light like, I awakened, I am light, I am chosen, or I am ready. And if you know someone who's also awakening, someone who sees the cracks in the mirror, someone who feels there's more to life than what eyes can see, share this message with them. For the time of great revelation has come, the time of great remembrance, the time of great awakening.